Okay, we're starting our video with black bean patties with Chipotle adobo sauce. I made these last night. I'm going to show you that soon. But it's lunchtime today and we're going to make ourselves a burrito. I'm going to microwave this just for like 45 seconds or so. I'm going to add a few mushrooms. So we'll just give this a quick zap. Okay, we're done microwaving. I'm going to add Southwest sauce first. The recipe is in the description. It's an easy recipe. Just throw it all in a blender and you're good to go. What I do with this is the Chipotle and adobo sauce in the Goya can that you need for the black beans leaves enough to make a double batch of the Southwest sauce that's linked in the description. But as I show in the video later, I sometimes freeze it when I still have plenty of Southwest sauce because I make this recipe quite a lot. And we'll add a little bit of lettuce, and that's lunch. So bon appetit, and let's go to making this. Okay, we're going to make black bean patties. I have 1 1/3 cup of dried black beans. That's going to go right in the Instant Pot, like so. I've pre-boiled water, so we're going to need 4 cups of the water. I pre-boil it because we're going to use a Chipotle base from Better Than Bouillon. If you don't have that, you could probably use chili pepper and a pinch or 2 of cayenne. Let me set up the camera. I would recommend using a tablespoon. I'm going to use a half because I had a little bit of a jar left over. What I like to do, I stick the tablespoon in here to get it nice and hot first in the boiling water. And then when I scoop from the base, I know the spoon's sterilized and it also comes off more easily. You don't have to fight it. The base is kind of sticky. And then we're going to just whisk to get it in solution and pour it into the Instant Pot. Alright, we have our whisked Chipotle Better Than Bouillon base. Or you could use some chili powder and a pinch of cayenne. We're going to cook. My bean is already set to 25 minutes at normal pressure. That's what we want. And we're going to just put the lid on, seal it, and it's good to go. When this is done cooking, we're going to let it naturally release the pressure. So that'll take like about an hour. Well, it'll take 10 minutes to come up to pressure, 25 to cook, and 30 minutes to cool. So this step takes a while. While we wait, I've prepped the other ingredients. 1 cup of panko crumbs, an egg. I used 3 cloves because they're a little small, but 2 cloves of garlic. We're going to mince these up. I used half an onion, which is probably a little extra. A 1/3 cup is less than this. Spices, we got 1 teaspoon of cumin, and then a half each of salt and pepper. So we got our spices ready. Chipotle peppers, I used the Goya brand. You want Chipotle's in adobo sauce. So we fished out 2 of the peppers and some of the sauce. And then we have a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar and a tablespoon of tamari. You could just use regular soy sauce. So these are going to be all the ingredients that we mix after the beans finish cooking. End up with extra chipotle pepper, so you can either I use this to make a double batch of Subway Southwest sauce. I'll have the recipe in the description, or you can just save 2 portions for future black bean patties. My trick for vacuum sealing stuff like that, because you don't want it to contaminate the edge of the bag where you're going to vacuum seal it. So just use like party cups with the bottom cut off, and that makes that easy. They're vacuum sealed and labeled. I'll put them in the freezer for the next time I make black bean patties. I'm going to wear my action camera on a neck thing so you can watch what I do. It's been 28 minutes after the 25 minutes of cooking time, and the pressure released naturally. I didn't release it. Alright, I'm going to carefully set the lid on its side, I've cooked this many times, so I know the beans are done. They're al dente. We want to capture some of the bean juice, so we're going to use this 4-cup Pyrex jug, set the colander on top, and we want to capture some of the liquid because we'll need that later. And I'll set that to the side. And our large mixing bowl, we're going to dump the beans in, and we can put this in the soapy water, and the bean liquid we'll use later if we need it to mix better. And let's get the Instant Pot out of the way. Set it over here for now. Alright, so with the ingredients, we can start with the spices. Make sure they're all in there. We can add the garlic. We can add our onions. We can add the tablespoon of soy sauce and tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. But before we add the chipotle peppers with adobo, we need to mince them up. So use a cutting board that you don't mind. It's going to stain it. That's why I use the plastic for this. I do have wooden ones as well, but we want to make sure we mince up the peppers nice and fine. Like so. Go from each angle. And we'll set the knife like so. And we want this mix to go in. And I'll show you my trick with this. We don't want to leave it stained like that, right? So back to our cleaning water. Well, I don't want to get the spoon dirty. Let's leave it by the eggs. We're going to just rinse it off. And we still have the staining. So what I have this, I keep 50-50 bleach and water. And we'll just spray some on and just leave it, and after a few minutes the stain will go away. Big mixing spoon. Let's see, where's my big mixing spoon? We'll use this one. Give it a nice little stir at the moment before we add I add the eggs last. Alright, so we have you don't want to overdo it. We don't want to be crushing the beans. So yeah, I'm going to add the eggs last. So we'll add the panko crumbs next. And get them nice and thoroughly mixed. And the last step, we will add our eggs. Get it all in there. Set that there. I did get a little egg white on my mat, so pour that in too. We'll set that over there to be cleaned. And we'll give it a nice stir. I kind of do a spin, turn. Alright, and we're gonna just let that kind of set for maybe 5 minutes. And I'll leave the spoon there. This one as well. Alright, time to do some cleanup, but I won't make. And I did want to show the bleach has done its bit, so I will just rinse that off into my sink, and we'll do the soapy water. With the Instant Pot lid, I find the best way to clean it, you can use a fork to just grab the seal and pull it. I'll show you how to do that. So we'll just pull that out, put that in, and then I like to just put the whole lid in hot soapy water and just let it kind of be for a few minutes. Okay, it's been a few minutes soaking, so we want to give it a nice spray, and I put water right into where the vent hole is. And on some of the older ones you can remove this as well, but you want to make sure this doesn't get clogged up with anything. You can also fill up the water here, and the water will drizzle some, but it works better this way to flush anything out that got trapped. So we're going to put some olive oil in the pan. I like to use the silicone brush, give it a good smear. We're going to be using this later, so I'll keep it on the plate. Reorganize things a little. Now we got our mix. Take your ring off. When we do this, if it's not sticking well, we'll add a little bit of the bean juice that we kept. I feel like this is pretty good. So we're just going to set it on the pan, like so. I like to give it a little smush once I add it to the pan. Like so. Give it a little push down when you add it to the pan. And we're going to need to do this in 2 batches anyway, so I'm only going to do 4 patties. Like so. Give it a little smush. And the main thing here, yeah, it's definitely getting a little hot to touch. Don't mess with these. Once you have them set on their side, we're going to set the timer for 5 minutes, but I need to clean my hands, which is why I like to have a hot dish pan of water ready to go. And now I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and we're going to just let them cook. Don't mess around with them. Okay, the timer just went off, and it's time to flip. I like to use my little cheater tool here just to help guide it on the spatula and hold it as we get her over. And you want to see a little bit of browning, but you don't want to see like full-on black charring. Oh, that was a bad flip. Yeah, so that one's more darker brown. There we go. So I might turn the pan down a little bit this time. We'll go a smidge less here. And again, 5 minutes. Don't touch it. They're done now, so we're gonna set them on the plate to rest a little bit before we prep them. This one had a bad flip. Still tastes the same though. And we'll scrape the pan out. And I'll do batch number 2, but won't make you watch that. One thing I on the first batch is we want to, after you pan them, we're going to put some oil on top so they're ready to go to be flipped after 5 minutes. In case you're wondering, the purpose of this is for, so I don't pour all the scrap stuff that's in the dishwater water. So this will go in my compost bin, and it keeps my plumbing more clear.